So there's a certain movie I saw on a buddy's list of when this person was owning a bunch of movies called Serpico, and I'm like, what is Serpico? That sounds like a Pokemon. That sounds like an Italian food. I'm like, what is that? It turns out Serpico is actually Frank Serpico, a an honest cop who knows that there was a lot of corruption going on in what was it, the Bronx or the boroughs police in throughout 1960 to 1972. This movie stars Al Pacino as Frank Serpico. This is from 1973. It's color, 130 minutes, USR, Canadian R, widescreen. Right here, disc. There's also Blu-ray, but this video exclusive, a video rental store in the only one remaining is in Dearborn. That's right. Dearborn Heights, Michigan. 6609 North Telegraph Road, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. 48127 313 278 4446. Yes, that type of store exists. Because I did a video walkthrough of it about a year ago. Now, maybe wondering, what is this like? How is this movie? Well, when you want to have a character study, you need to introduce and show them in their everyday life. How are they going to be? Are they going to be a person that is instantly going to be likable, or are they going to be a detestable scumbag? Well, Al Pacino considers this to be his greatest role, if not one of his most astonishing and powerful. And I have seen that, as you can tell by the tremendous beard, the mustache, or the goatee, and the long hair. Just unlike a hippie. Peace. And, it's like, oh, this performance is great. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this Serpico and see what it's like. At the end, I'm like, oh my word, this is indeed regarded as a classic with its 93% review on Rotten Tomatoes and 88%, which I would say that's a pretty gosh darn good score. So, yeah, this movie is it's a good slow burn. Actually, it's not a slow burn. I would call it more of a consistent overall feel. It's like it's fast, but it's well paced where you're not bored. Maybe slightly bored, but at the same time, it hits. It hits. I mean, there's like maybe one or two funny parts. I mean, you can tell that these are professionals trying to expose what's going on. But just to give you an idea of how like this is an honest cop. I mean, there were a bunch of there's two African or like three. There was a rape going on, and people get called, and two schmucks are fortunately doing some misdeeds to a woman, and there's this one guy who just gets caught, and he wasn't really doing anything. So it says, hey, I'll see if I can at the minimum get you a lighter charge or something like that. I'll even buy you a coffee. So that just goes to show how honest he is and things like that. Even in the beginning, Frank and his partner get what was that, a roast beef sandwich for free, and Serpico's like, hey, I actually want to pay for it. I don't feel right. So that's just to give you an idea. I mean, heck, he even adopts a dog, for crying out loud. So you get to see this big sheepdog, Alfie, in the beginning. Parents, and just trying to just be an honest everyday officer of the law. But then eventually gets exposed in the seedy corruption of bribery, and personally, I guess kind of not exactly turf wars, but demanding payment from certain people. It's like, if you don't make this, you're going to be effing dead, including even giving them an actual swirly. I'm just like, this is a powerful movie. I can tell you that much. I mean, it's 130 minutes, and it feels just like 130 minutes. And then, eventually discovers, hey, I'm actually going to need to talk to some people, because like they're the honest cops who are seeing, yeah, this has been going on. There's nothing we can do, but connections and everything else. And eventually, towards the end, yes, it does get revealed that yeah, this part of the law, this jurisdiction has been corrupt, and they got their asses handed to them. It was known as the NOP investigation or NOP jury, something like that. I'm trying to remember. It is based off a true story. The music is fine. It is very sublime. It is very beautiful. It's half Italian, half jazz. Yes. I would say it's very. I would say music is rather close. I mean, I heard there's a musical score that's very close to the Bernard Herrmann theme from Taxi Driver, which kind of conveys the emptiness of the city and things like that. But also Italian, including an opera that is played, which has to do with abuse of power and corruption, which I'm like, yeah, that fits the motif very well. Yeah, so you can tell it's like, this is, so it feeds well, music's great. This was Al Pacino's, like, when he was in The Godfather Part 1, so he already had enough cred to him. But there was also just enough, but is like, at the same time, he's not exactly a super well-known name as he is now before he became, say hello to my little friend. So, Serpico, Al Pacino. There were some things that, this movie has aged like fine wine. If there was anything that some people may not like about it, there is the kind of, unfortunately, there is some corruption still goes on within the police force. You know, you see it. Not naming any extent, not naming anything, but you just Google it and it's going to be there. And I guess there's also, like a homosexual slur. This was 1973. It's a different time, but yeah, it is there. And I'm just like, well, given the context, this is going to be different. And, you know, it's also like, this is 1973's iconography. You see the white retro fridges, you see the cars, you see the certain type of typeface and stuff like that. So, but amazingly, it still holds up. This still holds up to this day, and it's still shockingly relevant. It is one of those movies that is truly still shockingly relevant. And as for the actual man, Frank Serpico, he eventually transferred over to Switzerland. I think he had to escape facing, like, wrath of the cops or whatever, or something like that. He said, hey, this isn't right. Hey, I'm not liking Switzerland that much. Apparently, there's too much cheese there. I don't know. So he was living in a small farm in New York. And I guess there was also a little kind of a funny line about there was an officer named Kellogg. He's like, what's Kellogg involved with? He works over with Frosted Flakes. So, I don't know, it was like, he works with Frosted Flakes. So, if you want Frosted Flakes, ask this Detective Kellogg. And it's just a joke. Anyway, hopefully you found this review informative. Go check it out. It's on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. There's the DVD. Pretty much a solid 10 out of, pretty much a solid A+ movie. So, yeah.